Greetings, Guardians, wherever you are in Saul. In case you missed it, hand cannons received an absurdly large buff in PvE in the Season of the Witch in August 2023. As a result, hand cannons have seen a steady rise in popularity. However, one weapon has seen a spike in usage in PvE. Like any weapon, Warden's Law is a great weapon to use in the Crucible if you have the correct rolls. This is a legendary review. Warden's Law is an exclusive weapon you can obtain in the Nightfall. The chances of receiving one increase with difficulty. However, in the Grandmaster Nightfalls, the weapon is guaranteed to drop as the Adept version if you kill all the champions with the addition of getting a platinum score. Warden's Law isn't your ordinary hand cannon. The weapon is a unique, kinetic, 257 RPM hand cannon that fires a 2-round burst, allowing it to dish out a surprising amount of damage rather quickly. The trick to making the gun feel good is finding a decent one. The good news is that there are plenty of tasty perks for PvP players. As I said before, it fires a 2-round burst, which is a rare find throughout the game. Bungie has expanded the heavy burst archetype with weapons such as Maha's HC4 and bold endings. This makes Warden's Law one of the most interesting legendary weapons in Destiny 2. While this doesn't do much for it in PvE, even with the 2-round burst, as mentioned earlier, it does allow the weapon to excel in PvP, especially when utilizing Kill Clip. Warden's Law is a slept-on pick in the Crucible, as long as you can hit both shots in each burst. This change has made Warden's Law more reliable, as players have more agency over where the second bullet lands. Bungie decided to rework the Warden's Law for Destiny 2 Season of the Witch, and that came with a refreshed perk pool that made this weapon more viable across all forms of in-game content. Naturally, this new perk pool means new god rolls are now available. Here are some powerful combos for PvE and PvP. With all the buffs to Destiny 2's hand cannons from the previous seasons, Warden's Law is easily one of the better picks out there. This is made even more apparent thanks to its number of damage-boosting perks. An ideal Warden's Law for PvE would look like the following. For the barrel, we have hammer-forged rifling, and for the magazine, we have flared magwell. As for the perks, we have 4th times the charm. This perk will help you avoid reloading when taking on stronger combatants. Also for damage output, you will want Vorpal Weapon or Frenzy, and if you want to masterwork the weapon, try to go with Reload. This roll will maximize Warden's Law with faster reloads and improved damage. Vorpal Weapon significantly increases this weapon's effectiveness versus mini-bosses, while the Frenzy grants a more sweeping damage buff and a substantial reload speed boost when in combat. This isn't going to be your go-to weapon for every encounter. Where it does shine, though, is against beefy targets, yellow bars, mini-bosses, and bosses. To some degree, it's not that bad against stuff like Acolyte or regular knights that move slower, but it shines against those more robust adds. Yet, a hunter using Lucky Pants can make short work of significant enemies and mini-bosses with Warden's Law, especially with the god roll above. However, players shouldn't neglect perks like Perpetual Motion and Rampage in PvE, as both are still very strong when paired with almost any other perk. However, in the Crucible, things get a little complicated. With a low base, stability of 29 and handling of just 24, Warden's Law will feel incredibly sluggish in the Crucible's fast-paced environment, and players will get flinched more severely on top of that. A god roll PvP Warden's Law should have the following roll. For the barrel, you should go for Small Bore, which increases range and stability. For the magazine, Accurized Rounds or Flared Magwell should do nicely. Perpetual Motion and Zen Moment should be an excellent fit for the perks. Finally, for the masterwork, go for Stability or Handling. A roll like this should negate most of Warden's Law's flaws. Zen Moment, in particular, is excellent for combating flinching, and Perpetual Motion is enough to get the gun's handling to a decent level. Players who don't mind cringing much can swap Zen Moment for Kill Clip, which allows Warden's Law to eliminate Guardians of all resilience levels in just 2 bursts. Warden's Law is great, but it doesn't perform the best in the Crucible. It feels almost like a budget Crimson, but it does slap in PvE. However, the weapon has seen more play since hand cannons obtained a buff last year. Yet, the amount of times you'll win a gunfight is slim as the burst feels lackluster. Don't get me wrong, with the right build and playstyle, I can see this gun being a menace, but for average hand cannon enjoyers, it is fun, but might not be the best one to use. Fourth time's the charm will help you avoid reloading when taking on stronger combatants. Combine this with Frenzy for increased damage and the reload speed boost when you eventually have to reload. Unfortunately, there are likely better hand cannons for PvE, like the new seasonal weapon, Sightline Survey. The available perks on Warden's Law certainly position it as a strong PvP option. In PvE, it's a kinetic primary, which already brings it down a couple of notches, since as soon as you find an enemy with an energy shield, this gun is going to hit like a wet noodle. Fatebringer and Spare Rations with kinetic tremors are probably better options for PvE. It's a disappointment in the Crucible. While it feels awesome to shoot, it does nothing different from any other hand cannon. Round Robin does a better job of two-tapping, as you do not have to deal with burst shot shenanigans. It also has a faster TTK than Warden's Law. Well, there you have it. Is the Warden's Law worth the grind? In my opinion, yes. Can it compete with the best weapons in the Crucible? It depends on how skilled you are with hand cannons. However, it is a gun I wouldn't sleep on either. I hope you enjoy this video. Until next time, Guardians, my name is Sintar.